So April 15th is almost upon us. I just did my taxes. I didn't owe that much this year. I feel pretty good.
Shitty year last
How are you
year,
guys doing personally on tax? It was really shitty. Yeah. You owed?
I think so.
You owe? Jimmy, did you owe?
Yeah, I cheat a lot.
Nikki, did you owe?
This is an issue that I am so passionate about. Here is why.
Yeah. Wait, let me tell everybody about what's going on first,
okay,
and then you
tell
can
everybody first.
take it away with passion. So a lot of people are talking about tax choice, which would basically be a system where you would get to choose what your tax money goes to. This actually seems pretty great.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it seems pretty great because perhaps if you aren't a, let's say, a war profiteer, maybe you wouldn't want your money going so we can drop cruise missiles on people or something of that nature. And now give me some passion. Oh,
I am so passionate about this because a lot of my money goes to taxes. Half of my check goes to taxes every single week. And I look at it and I go, well, what am I getting in return? I don't mind that half of my check goes to taxes. I mind it's taxation without representation that just really gets my goose going, because I don't want to be funding a war in Afghanistan. I want to be sending kids to school. It costs 88% less for a child to get a high school diploma than it does to keep somebody in Afghanistan for 1 year. Yeah. It's insane what we're spending. If I could choose and sit down and go, I want it to go to this and this and this, or at least a certain percentage, 25% or some percentage of my money where I could decide where that goes, I'm going to feel a lot better about giving my money away every single week.
Axel?
Now, a percentage may be better. I think that we're opening a can of worms, in my opinion. Why? Because, you know, you certainly do it, and I'll certainly do it, but I'm not sure that millions of Americans are going to choose the right boxes, particularly this.
You think this could actually lead to more war? More people are going to be like, I want that new tank.
I just read something on the news. I saw Fox News. I'm going to send more troops to Iran or whatever. Yeah. You know, like we go with the flow in this country, and the media has a very strong, you know, hold on our public view and opinion, and that could sway. It could be almost a method of like swaying where the money is allocated.
Yeah. Would this be one of these things that you would do it just as you described, but that really it would just be so that you feel good about yourself? But at the end of the day, the government's going to do what the government's going to do.
Yeah, I have a feeling the government's going to do exactly what they want to do, right? Yeah. So no matter, I mean, 90% of America wanted some form of sensible gun legislation, and of course it couldn't even get out of the Senate. So what does that tell you? That tells you that exactly what she says. We kind of have taxation without representation in a sense. We do get to vote, but the people who we vote for aren't responsive to the voters. They're only responsive to their donors. So whatever the donor wants, who's ever giving big money, which now there's no limits anymore. So our voice is going to be even smaller and smaller, and we have to rely on rich people to influence our representatives.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I was just going to say, and the other thing is, like, while I would love to be a part of this and I would love for this to exist, you look at why aren't people up in arms now whenever a representative that they vote in, that they believe stands for something, gets into office and goes the other way, and nobody says anything, nobody, you know, is picketing or boycotting this representative to get them out of office. So I guess you're right. Like, what would make us think that somebody's going to sit down and fill out and do the research and the education that they need to do in order to make the right choices? Yeah.
So why is it? It seems to be a pretty consistent thought amongst most people that the government's pretty screwed up and we waste money all over the place. But why is it only that the Tea Party is for cutting taxes? You know what I mean? It seems to me that progressives also, if you see so much waste in government and money going to wars you don't want to be in and things like that, we should also be trying to rein in the pocketbook, because maybe that's the only way we can control that.
Well, I thought that's why we voted. I thought that was the whole point of this, that we vote people to manage this thing for us, and then we vote them out when, you know, we don't agree with them. I think that the problem is that our democracy right now and our voting components, I mean, the options that we have, Bush, Clinton, the options that we have are not representative of a lot of the same values that we're talking about.
So getting to the Supreme Court case that you alluded to, so we're just putting more money in, and then it's just going to cause none of this to change, right?
It seems like it almost has to get worse before it gets better. I mean, even in retrospect, you know, our choices between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama was a guy who's going to give you a shit sandwich and a guy who's going to give you a shit sandwich plus health care. right? So that's really what we're getting. You know, Barack Obama's not supporting the unions. He's not really doing anything to affect income inequality. He doesn't have a jobs program. He's not trying to stop outsourcing. He's not re-regulating Wall Street. He's not making sure investment happens. He's still giving a quantitative easing, $65 billion a month to the banks for free when he's not, and he's making teachers jump around for $4 billion a year, and that's his race to the top. So his priorities are backwards and upside down, and that's what we get because of our broken system and the fourth estate. That's why we're here, right? The internet. We're not bought by anybody, and so we can actually tell the truth. We're not bought by Bill Gates like NPR is, right? And so we don't even get the truth about education anymore, and everything's going to be privatized. So the media has been bought by the people, the criminals who also bought Congress, and that's where we're at. We have no watchdog over the people who are now criminally running our government.
Yeah, and we could do stories on that pretty much every day for the rest of our lives. So final thought on this. What do you guys think about the general tax code as a sort of, just in the bigger sense of it? So you said you pay 50% of your weekly check to taxes, but you also said you're okay with it.
I am.
So is there something system that would be more fair, even if it wasn't this, that may be a little pie in the sky, something maybe like a flat tax or something like that?
Yeah, actually, a flat tax. I'm not opposed to having that discussion of a flat tax. I feel very frustrated, you know, and I don't know what to do because this is above my pay grade and my education and my knowledge in terms of, like, really, I think it's quite a lot more involved than I could possibly imagine.
I'd vote for you.
Would you?
Yes. Why wouldn't you? You can run and make a difference. Right now, didn't Henry Waxman just retired? I think you should run.
In fact, that's why I'm here, people. I am announcing
candidacy.
Yeah, I feel like something has to be done, and for me, it really comes down to, like what you were saying, such a good point about the money is going into the wrong places, and there's nobody being held accountable for it, and I am done with people not being held accountable